Upcoming next, I present to you Team Safe System. They will give a presentation on amendments to STCW, ensuring and promoting safer onboard training of seafarers. Please welcome the Safe System.
Seafarers are fundamental to the maritime industry, including the advancement of digital and low-carbon vessels, as they drive every process forward.
The STCW, which defines the standards for seafarers' training, education, and watchkeeping, is not just a guideline. It's the lifeline that ensures every seafarer returns home safely.
A high-quality maritime transport industry, the legacy of maritime expertise, and the enhancement of global shipping all stem from the effective and safe training of seafarers, especially cadets, who are the heart of all.
Just as waves rise and fall, a new life takes root. As we Safe System grow with resilience and purpose, navigating towards a safer tomorrow. We are Team Safe System.
Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable chairs, we are Team Safe System. It is a great honor to present our proposal, Amendments to STCW, ensuring and promoting safer onboard training of seafarers, to the 2024 moeiIMO Assembly. We would like to begin by addressing the maritime community's key issues today, and the essential practical reasons behind our proposed amendments to solve the issues. The importance of the human element cannot be overstated. According to IMO's 5th-year strategic plan, despite technological advances, the human element still remains critical, both on board and ashore, for maritime accidents. Aligning with that statement, various researches has already proved the importance of the human element. Some researchers say that the human element is the cause of more than 80% of every maritime accident, emphasizing that a safer and more efficient maritime transport system still relies deeply upon a human being. And to put it differently, the human element can reduce more than 80% of all maritime accidents. In 2023, Drury reported the most significant seafarer shortfall in 17 years of their research, indicating a 9% global deficit. Meanwhile, BIMCO has highlighted the aging demographic of the seafaring workforce, with 53% of UK seafarers over the age of 41 and 44% of Korean seafarers over the age of 60. Although senior seafarers make up a substantial portion of the workforce, safety remains critical for all age groups. Furthermore, technological advances means that even skilled seafarers must continuously learn new skills and adapt to emerging technologies, underscoring the need for safety-oriented training. To analyze this comprehensively, our maritime community is experiencing a decline in the supply of essential seafarers who are crucial to maritime safety and the future of the shipping industry, intensifying the global competition for skilled seafarers without innovative and guaranteed training in the newer era of the maritime industry. According to the Maritime Labor Convention, MLC 2006, a seafarer includes anyone working on board a ship. However, the legal status vary by country, and the STCW Convention, which should be taking responsibility for seafarers' safety and training, lacks specific and down-to-earth provisions for their safety. These leave cadets unprotected in terms of their training, education, safety, and others. And also, disparities exposes cadets to significant risks during training. In 2010, there was a significant amendment to the STCW Convention. These changes were introduced for a variety of reasons. Among these updates, there were specific provisions added for training seafarers, including practical training components. This comprehensive approach was meant to address a shortage of high-skilled maritime workers by standardizing practical, hands-on experience globally for seafarers in various specializations. It also reflects the recognition by the IMO and the IMO's member states of the vital role seafarers play in the global shipping industry. Onboard training for seafarers is both a crucial and essential process, ensuring that they gain the practical skills and experience to perform their duties safely. Now, what are the actual challenges that we are facing? Let's take a closer look from our next delegate.
The following section will address the urgent need for improvements in onboard training and safety measures for cadets. Please refer to the incidents emphasized in red on the slide to see specific examples. Cadets face serious safety risks, with some fatalities due to hazardous onboard conditions like confined spaces, falls, and poor accommodations. These incidents highlight the urgent need for safer practices in cadet certification. The STCW Convention already emphasizes the importance of officers actively practicing in the training on cadets and junior personnel. With this guidance in place, the maritime community must ensure these practices are effectively supported to enhance cadet training. Current regulations do not effectively address seafarer fatigue, which poses a major safety risk. Additionally, there is a culture of adjustment where work and rest records are often altered to appear compliant, typically under pressure from senior officers. Furthermore, port state control inspections tend to focus heavily on documentation, often overlooking the actual conditions on board. Due to heavy operational duties, officers struggle to provide practical training. According to a report submitted by the IAMU, 56% of cadets struggle to complete practical training due to being assigned tasks unrelated to their learning. Additionally, 75% reported feeling overworked, and 71% were unable to finish their training effectively. These findings underscore critical gaps in skill acquisition, which undermine the quality of cadet training on board. The STCW Convention lacks specific safety guidelines and defined responsibilities for cadets. Although the IMO acknowledges the importance of training, the official curriculum or detailed guidance exists. Training records are often manipulated to appear compliant, creating a culture focused on record keeping rather than true learning. This puts cadets in a difficult position, torn between regulatory demands and the ship's interests. To address these challenges, we propose the following suggestions. We recommend amending the STCW code to enhance cadet safety and onboard training. Additionally, the IMO Model Course 1.21 should be updated to incorporate more practical training. Finally, establishing a robust IMO system is essential to validate and assess onboard training record book. A key improvement would be to clearly define cadet within the STCW framework. Add a formal definition specifying that a cadet is an individual ownership for officer certification. This clarifies cadets' roles and responsibilities. In addition, amend to recognize companies that host cadets as training institutions with the duty of care towards cadet safety. Next, we focus on the responsibilities of companies regarding cadets. Amend to recognize companies hosting cadets as training institutions with the duty of care toward cadet safety. This change would officially establish a duty of care ensuring that companies are responsible for cadet safety and welfare as they undergo training. With that, I'll hand it over to our next speaker to discuss ensuring the reliability and integrity of onboard training records.
To validate onboard training effectively, we must eliminate a culture of adjustment. Training should be documented in a record book, verified, and securely stored in forgery-resistant digital format. Records must be promptly sent to the company or stored securely to ensure their integrity. A training record book tailored to the specific type of vessel must be prepared. This accounts for variations in format and content based on the vessel's characteristics. The captain must demonstrate due diligence regarding the safety of the cadets for navigation training and the overall program. This ensures that all departments adhere to the same safety practices and that the training is equally effective. The same applies to cadets for engineering training about trust and reliability of training record book. This vessel-specific training record book also applies to the cadets for engineering training. And steady due diligence. Here, the chief engineer must demonstrate due diligence regarding the safety of the cadets for engineering training and the overall program. Improving the working environment is crucial to enhancing the appeal of a profession as a seafarer, with safety being the top priority. It is imperative that these aspects are explicitly stated in the STCW framework. It is essential that training institutions not only provide education to cadets, but also ensure that training in the working environment is mandatory. We must stress the significance of this training to foster accountability in those assigned to implement it. The comprehensive system for the training record book focuses on validating, verifying, and evaluating the learning outcomes during onboard training, enhancing its effectiveness and ensuring a streamlined process. To conclude, we would like to summarize the key points. Our proposal aligns closely with the UN SDG goal number 8, focusing on decent work and the economic growth. Ensuring the safety of seafarer cadets will result in 3 significant outcomes. First, enhancing the attractiveness of seafaring careers. Second, enhancing the supply of seafarers. Third, activating the National Essential Fleet System for national security and economic purposes. Our proposal will further advance the IMO strategic direction, specifically Strategic Direction 6, address the human element. We can use the performance indicators SD6, specifically PI Index 6.1 and 6.2. These matters should be referred to HTW for discussion and subsequently reviewed by MSC. Our strengths lie particularly in the social and governance aspects of ESG. In the social domain, we see enhanced seafarer safety and increased job attractiveness. In terms of governance, we witness a strengthening of corporate responsibility and national capabilities. The 6 final resulting from the STCW revisions are as follows. I personally met the father of cadet whose tragic passed away. The loss of an individual doesn't just end with their death. It leaves a profound emptiness in the lives of their family. Through education, we must rank safety and prevent incidents. Safety should extend not only to cadets, but to all seafarers. Team Safe System believes in the power of education to ensure safety of cadets. These are the sources referred. For further details, please refer to this page. This concludes our team proposal on safety measures for cadets. Thank you so much for your time to our proposer. From the sea to the ocean, let them lead the way to safe ocean. Thank you.
Thank you, Safe System. Everyone, please give them a warm round of applause. Thank you. They mainly talk about the safety of seafarers cadets. So from now on, let's have a Q&A session. Let's start from the judges. Are there any questions? Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Safe Sea team, for your excellent presentations. Yes, I agree the importance of the seafarers and the human element. And also it was proved the importance of the seafarers through the corona pandemic crisis, and how they do important role for the smooth running of the global trade and for the global supply chains. And can we see your slide? What's the number? There's a pie chart from the IAMU data. The difficulties of onboard training and effectiveness of the onboard training. Can we see?
Can we look at presentation page number
12 and 13? Yes. You know who are the IAMU?
It's International Association of the Maritime Universities.
Okay, so I believe those data, the 56% or 75%, comes from maybe their student.
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
So this is only the opinions from the MET institutions, which is the Maritime Education Training Institutions, right? Based on these data, you suggest several recommendations to amend the STCW convention or code, and including training record books as well. Don't you think you put too much burden to the ship owners or ship operators based on this data? That is my question.
Yes.
Thank you.
So every time we thought about that question, and we thought about how we're going to implement these amendments to the IMO member states and convince them. But actually, this could be a benefit for the shipping companies too, because one of the point of the maintaining the seaworthiness of a vessel is a human seaworthiness. And now every minute the technology is advancing, and more the seafarers have the burden of the paperwork, and they have to learn new technologies, emerging new technologies. And without this proper education and our suggested amendments, the shipping companies, the associated seafarers, the cadets cannot maintain the level of the seaworthiness, exactly to say human seaworthiness. So yes, and that will be our answer. So to maintain the human seaworthiness, it's gonna be in the future, it's gonna be a benefit for the shipping companies and for the maritime industry too. And that will be our answer to your question.
Okay, thank you, Safe Sea team.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you for the interesting presentation. With regard to the amendment of STCW convention, your teams pointed out to the needed to the definition of cadet. So I'm just wondering about among the definition and meaning is among to the crew and the cadet and seafarer? That is my first question. And then the second one is, already to the officially on board, we can use to the definition apprentice engineer, apprentice the officer. What is the difference to the cadet and the apprentice engineer and the officer? Could you explain that?
So I'm gonna repeat your question for our clear answer. Your question number one would be the need of the to define cadets differ than the seafarers, and the second question is to give the responsibility of educating the cadets to the
Yes, including to the responsibility in charge of their onboard role and responsibility, and the between the cadet and the apprentice engineer and apprentice officer. What is the difference to the role and responsibility? The second my question.
So first question would be answered by another team member.
It is important to make the definitions exactly. So could you explain that, the definitions?
Yes, the definition of cadet is necessary because STCW used the various in terms about it. Like example, navigating training, engineering training, trainee, cadet, and so on. So we need to put them all together on one term. So, and cadet is usually using nowadays. So we think the cadet is the best word for expressing the cadet. Thank you.
And I will answer the second question. You asked about what are the different penalties that the officers and the cadets get for practice of their training. So first of all, in our proposal, we didn't include any of the cadets' responsibilities because they are on board the ship on the purpose of getting a certificate as a seafarer, not on the purpose of working. So they have to be treated as a trainee, not an actual working seafarer. And the second, in our proposal, we added the captain's due diligence to the navigation cadets and the chief engineer's due diligence to the engineering cadets. So those kind of detailed matters or the penalties could be regulated under the STCW convention, since the STCW convention is the higher regulation. And such as IMO model courses, but they are not actually mandatory, but IMO model courses and other regulations could sufficiently regulate the penalties that the responsibility of the captain and the chief engineers. So, and also to comment a little bit about this, due diligence is just a reasonable step to take cautions to giving them the responsibility of at least a reasonable step of a caution to the chief engineer and the captain. So I think it wouldn't be too much of a pressure to the officers on board or in the charge of their training. Thank you.
Thank you. To what you mean, understand. I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any questions from judges? No one? Okay, let's move on to the floor. Okay, icebreaker, team icebreaker.
Thank you. I have a question. On your slide number 20, you have mentioned that the newly employed seafarers include cadets embarked on for the purpose of training. Does that mean that the ship owners need to take care of them physically and as legally, even though they are just onboard training? I mean, if they get into accidents or if they get disastrous some penalties, and then the company or the shipping owners have to take care of them after their whole life?
So to answer your questions, in the STCW convention, there is already regulations for the ship owners and the shipping companies to regulate about the education about the newly employed seafarers. So already STCW convention has the content of the regulations to what the companies should have to provide to the newly employed seafarers, such as like getting more friendly to the ship and so on. So, but our purpose of adding that clause in the STCW convention was to also apply the already existing convention, already existing code to the cadets too, so they can practice more caution and their practices to the cadets too. So we just wanted to extend the definition and the responsibilities to the newly employed seafarers. Thank you.
Okay, we have 25 seconds. Are there any short questions? Sorry, I think there are 17 minutes, so I'm going to give you a chance next time. Okay, we have to wrap it up here. Okay, thank you. Safe System. Everyone, please give them a big round of applause.
Thank you so much.